Welcome to Daily Life at Mintleaf. Today we're going to take a check-in look at the toddler room at our Nagano school and talk about a few more things relating to toddler education. Let's look at this topic in 5 different sections. Number 1, English and language support with toddlers. Number 2, we'll take a look at the morning meeting and see how that went. Number 3, independent play. Number 4, helping clean up. And number 5 is setting safety standards. Number 1 is English support. A lot of parents and teachers don't really understand how we can teach English in an emergent curriculum where we do not have set chunks of language that we're introducing to children. The interesting thing is that linguistic experts would tell you that language is learned socially, and that actually the strong point of an emergent curriculum is that we can teach language in context. That means that we teach language as we experience life, and we teach language based on topics and activities that the children are already interested in. This will in turn deepen their learning because they'll have a motivation to learn what we're talking about. So with the toddlers today, there were a few examples of language learning. One at the clay table, I was introducing a few verbs such as squish and chop and cut and different things they can do with the clay. And the children enjoyed that. And if I were their everyday teacher, maybe that would be something I did every day for a little while. And before you know it, the children would start to repeat those words. Another thing that was a direct kind of English learning experience was using the wall documentation to read to the children. The children were interested in the photos of each other on the wall, and the teachers had put some captions next to the photos. And one of the purposes of those captions is to actually read them with the children. So I was able to read those with the children, and then they were getting some literacy practice as well as some listening practice. Similar to the clay at the drawing table, we also talked about the words scribble and tap. Scribble, 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 scribble. Tap, tap, tap. I think it's a tap, and it makes a little dot. As you know, I'm saying those isolated words. There are also plenty of other sentences I'm saying. You'll see here too that teacher Rose is using her language very intentionally and asking questions that are meaningful to the children and using a rich vocabulary and a nice supporting voice that goes a long way to creating the foundation of English learning in all of these children.
It's okay, you can just use the other circle figures. Here you are. Is that how we make the way we do them? This way, yes.
And beyond the foundation, it also just gives them some real immediate English learning opportunities. Next, we'll talk about the morning meeting. We're getting close to Christmas, and we do a little Christmas party at Nagano Mintleaf. So I had brought in a book of music. I was going to sing Jingle Bells, and I introduced the sheet music to the children and showed them the table of contents and showed them how many songs are in the book. This is also an English and literacy experience for them to see the book and to see that music can also be written. It's also important to point out that my plan did not go according to plan. I was going to ask them if they knew any other Christmas songs and then figure them out on guitar using the sheet music. But one of them wanted to sing the ABCs, so we sang the ABCs. And then every time that class sees me, they want to sing Old MacDonald with me. So I've sung Old MacDonald with them many, many times, and it changes a little bit every time we do it, and that is so age appropriate to toddlers, to sing the same song, to read the same book over and over again with maybe a few small changes. One more note about morning meeting is all of the children had something to hold. So even if they weren't singing, they could shake a bell or play their instrument. And it's really important that there's something for the children to do, that meetings are not based around too much passive learning. The toddler room at Nagano has started to be really successful at giving the toddlers some independent play activities. You'll see that the children are doing a couple of different open-ended art activities, and for the most part they're very, very independent with just a little bit of teacher scaffolding and narration happening. This is wonderful to see, and by creating a toddler room that includes a lot of independent play, we're setting up those children to be successful when they go to the preschool room, which will also be centered around individual play. So it's important that the toddler room is very similar to the preschool room, and there's not such a huge gap between the level of independence that children experience at any age in the Mint Leaf program. Of course, while keeping in mind safety and developmental concerns. While we're mentioning safety, our view on safety is to think of safety as development. So what's safe for one child might not be safe for another child. A good example of this would be climbers outside, and recently we've experienced our first snows in Nagano. So rather than blanketly saying all play equipment outside is dangerous to play on, we're trying to take things individually and still look at the actual equipment. Is the equipment wet? Look at the children's skills. Are they climbing safely? Are they not climbing safely? And even when we have things such as bad weather, we want to think of safety as something that we look at as yet another element of child development. We're going to look at safety individually as well as collectively. And what we'll find is that the more we do that, really the safer classroom we're going to have. This brings us to our last topic, which is another area that we can look at from a developmental standpoint, and that is cleaning the room. We'll find that if the teacher models cleaning and then asks for help, children are usually very enthusiastic to help use tools, such as a hand vacuum or a broom. Now at the toddler age, they want to help maybe more than they actually are able to, so you'll see that I let the child help sweep, and then I asked the child, can I have a turn? It made the process of cleaning a little bit slower, but because I was there cleaning along with the child, the floor still got cleaned to the standard we wanted it to be. That's about it in a nutshell for this episode of Daily Life. I just wanted to remind you a little bit about the toddler room and a little bit about teaching language in an emergent curriculum, and just some other ideas about keeping the curriculum developmentally appropriate, not only by age expectation, but also on individual abilities. That's it. Thanks a lot for joining us.